There's one interesting moment that you describe when you're going through your phase of having a relationship with alcohol, where you're on a cold day pub crawling, I guess, in Edinburgh, and then you see somebody who's doing something rather different. Do you want to summarise that?
It was a pivotal moment for me. I didn't realise that for many, many years. But I mean, I must have been in my early 20s. And I think pub crawl even makes it sound rather more glamorous than it was, to be honest with you. I was alone, and I was just wandering from pub to pub, and I was drunk. And it was early evening, Maghrib time, I realise now. And I was walking along George Street in Edinburgh, past one of the big churches, and the church was closed. And I was standing at a bus stop. I smoked at the time, so I was standing smoking a cigarette at the bus stop. And there was a man had rolled out his prayer mat. And I mean, I knew enough to know that this was a Muslim, but beyond that, I knew nothing, But I watched this man, and I was standing there. I was lost, completely lost, directionless, And ironically, this man, I remember him looking at his compass, and so he had direction, but. He laid out his prayer mat, and he put his shoes to one side, and he prayed. And I can remember just being really struck by the contrast. That I was living this chaotic life at the time, directionless, kind of hopeless, and here was this man who seemed to me to be somehow touching paradise, and it just really struck me, There's something really struck me in that moment, and I wanted to speak to this man when he finished his prayer, but I was just too ashamed, and he went on his way and rolled up his prayer mat and went on his way, and I wandered off back up the street into some dingy little pub somewhere, But it stayed with me. It never really left me. It took a long time. Yeah. I was a bit of a slow burner, as you know. It took a long time, but eventually I was guided towards the truth.
Do you want to say something about that? Sort of the happy ending, although somebody once said to a new Muslim, "You have won the battle, now you must fight it."
Yeah.
It's the beginning of something new. But all of these things, the extreme sports, the experience of alcohol, issues with masculinity, all of these things are kind of all symmetrically. Do you see it as providential that you're slowly being
I think
nudged?
Now when I look at my life, I think it was all leading towards Islam. It makes perfect sense now to me.
But a hard road.
Yeah, but it was for me. It had to be that way because I was so, like I say, the nerves that had become so inflated that it had to be that way, and there had to be the level of pain, if you like, and both in terms of just the way I was living and the way it felt. But also, consciously going out there and doing these things that are spoken about in the book seemed to, like I say, to quieten all that noise and allow something else to bubble up to the surface, to make my vision a little clearer, I think. So yeah, I do feel it was all providential and guiding me towards something. Yeah.